I saw news today that Sweden has voted in digital ID. Overwhelmingly, 50 something percent of people in parliament voted it in. It's quite concerning, isn't it? We know that Germany currently has a digital ID system. It seems like we are moving ever so close to this 2030 agenda or the globalist kind of agenda, which is quite scary. It seems like 1984 is becoming a increasing reality in 2025. And if we let these politicians get their way, we could end up losing all of our freedoms. We can end up being like communist China. It's because these people want to frame digital ID as being something that is actually good for society, but we know what it actually is. It is a hellscape. If you end up getting digital ID, the government will be able to control what you think, what you do, and how you do it, and so much more. They're able to control your medical records, even though they already do, even more so. So, say, for example, you cross the road illegally, right? And there's cameras everywhere. London has already got the most cameras. You're heavily surveilled in London, even though there's so much crime. It's amazing how you got so much crime and it's super surveilled, but yet nothing really gets done to fix the crime issue. How about that, right? So if you say jaywalk across the street and a camera catches you and they recognize your digital ID, they can penalize you and worse. Also, say, for example, your bank accounts are linked to your digital ID. In London, Keir Starmer is saying, or in England, I should say, Keir Starmer is saying that you cannot work without a digital ID. So it's forcing and putting pressure on the UK citizens, saying you can't earn money unless you have a digital ID that the government approves of, and that is all to combat illegal immigrants. Because apparently, according to Keir Starmer, people come to the UK illegally to work, and they have more people working illegally than anything else. Now, have a watch of this, ladies and gentlemen, because Keir Starmer crumbles quite considerably when asked about digital ID. Have a watch of this.
One of our viewers got in touch and wanted us to ask this question. Russ Brown wanted us to ask you if you really believe that those profiting from human trafficking will think, oh dear, I have to check your digital ID now. I can't carry on paying you £1.50 an hour to work in my sweatshop.
I'm absolutely convinced that amongst the reasons that people travel through France, which is a safe country, to come to the United Kingdom, amongst the reasons is because it's easier to work in our illegal economy than it is in other countries. And we have to deal with that.
Bosses who are prepared to hire people illegally are not asking them for their national insurance card. So what's the evidence? What makes you think they're suddenly going to ask them for a digital ID?
We need to be really clear. You must have ID, mandatory digital ID, in order to work, because we have to stop illegal working. If you look at any of the raids, we've massively increased the number of raids on working premises. It is absolutely clear that people are working illegally in numbers.
But why do you think that them having to have a digital ID would stop that problem, when right now people are meant to have a national insurance number and card, and if they're not asked for that, a boss is willing already to break the rules? What's the difference going to be?
Well, the difference is this is on point of starting, not a retrospective exercise as it now is. It is an automatic collection of the information by the government, so we know exactly who is working in our economy, and it will help us enforce the rules that are there. But there's no point people saying to me, why do we need it, when we all acknowledge there is a problem. People are working illegally in our economy. It is amongst the reasons that people want to come to the United Kingdom. We have to deal with that. I made a pledge that we would do whatever was necessary, use whatever tools were available to deal with illegal migration. I intend to do so.
I'm absolutely convinced. That it's easier for people to come through France, safe country, guys, safe country. Don't forget about that. I can't accuse France of being unsafe. No. But in our economy, it's a very illegal economy, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not proud of our illegal economy, hence why we're trying to fix our illegal economy, because we have people coming across from France just to work here illegally, to profit off trafficking, those sorts of things. I'm absolutely convinced of this. I'm absolutely convinced. Are you convinced? And the only way to fix this problem is to bring about a digital ID. We already know this doesn't work because they tried it in Germany. Still doesn't work. Does absolutely nothing. Their crime rate's still up. You still got lots of illegals working. It doesn't matter. It's not about fixing this supposed illegal economy that Keir Starmer's regime has got. I'll have you know. It's something a lot worse. How in the world, like, are you telling me Keir Starmer, right, who is the UK's elbow, you're telling me that you have so many people working illegally in the UK, right? That means you are suffering enormously with tax because you've got so many people working illegally, they're not paying tax, are they? Oh, we've got to fix that by creating a digital ID. Is that what you're telling me, Keir Starmer? Because you're absolutely convinced. The problem is we've got so many illegals that are profiting on sweatshops and human trafficking. They're coming to the UK to do the wrong thing. I'm absolutely convinced. Are you convinced that a digital ID is going to be good for you? Are you convinced? No, I'm not convinced at all. And if you're watching the video like I was, see the amount of times the dingbat blinks when he's talking about it? You can always tell when someone's lying. They blink an uncontrollable amount. Usually. That is like, it's because they know that every part of their body is screaming, this ain't the truth. I've got to get it out. The guilt and the shame as part of it. Now, obviously, you can do the snake eyes kind of thing. Just look and stare into oblivion and act as if like there's nothing wrong with you. But Keir Starmer's not like that at all. He crumbled under this. Pressured questions. And these dingbats think that the citizens of the UK are going to comply. Are you for real? And it's the same thing for here in Australia with Albo going, we're going to protect your kids, guys, from social media. And guess what? This digital ID thing, they haven't announced it yet, but they will. It's the only way to do it. It's the only way to bring about the safety reforms that the e-safety Karen, the dingbat that is controlling the internet, kids can't even play Roblox anymore. How about that? The lefties are in uproar about that too. So you've got Australia, you've got all these countries that are bringing about, digital ID, and they're all part of the World Economic Forum. Yeah, sure. Let's one world order, guys. Keir Starmer recently met with Albo, and he praised Albo for being on the left and bringing about this net zero garbage that's going on. By the way, government is also starting to crack down on people that are speaking out about climate change and net zero emissions and all that sort of stuff. So if you have anything negative to say about the climate change agenda or net zero, you can't. It's wrong. Fear mongering. It's working. So if you have a digital ID, mark my words, if you say anything bad about the government or online, you're screwed. You're already seeing it play out in the UK. Someone that is fed up with this and who actually raged at Keir Starmer, calling him an F-wit, it's Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson. I think we're all Tommy Robinson at the moment. We're all fed up. We all need to actually unite to save not just England, what used to be Great Britain, it's just Britain, and Australia. I think we all need to just unite and say enough is enough of this government tyranny. Like, how dare you try and take away our freedoms first and foremost? Like, that is just, it's communist. It's socialist communism is what it is. And I don't want it. But that's what they're after. Tommy's gone, we will bring London to a standstill over digital ID. You know what's going to happen when Starmer brings this about? Is people are going to rebel. They're not going to use it. They're not going to get it in the first place. And you have lots of Christians saying that, this is the mark of the beast, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think it's the mark of the beast, right? That's my personal take, but it will be along this kind of line, right? We will see it at some point. But Robinson has vowed to resist Keir Starmer's digital ID scheme, calling it the biggest threat to British freedom in modern times. I think the petition is almost at 2 million people have already rejected digital ID in petitions. Labor is pushing ahead with zero mandate. Public anger is rising across the country. And Keir Starmer is like, apparently he's the worst prime minister in recorded history. Montgomery Toms. If you don't know who Montgomery Toms is, he's actually a legend, right? He was arrested for holding up a sign against trans individuals. He's exposing digital ID live on GB News. Digital IDs are not just unnecessary, they pave the way for mass control and a social credit system. Many of us have been sounding the alarm since 2020, and now we see these concerns becoming a reality. Again, they tried to do it during COVID. They failed. We needed to have like a vaccine passport in order to get around, but that didn't really work, did it? They realized, oh, people don't like any of this nonsense. We rose up and we resisted. See, when the people resist, the government can't do anything. When the people resist, it's when the people decide to go along with stuff like the digital IDs thing. Oh, there's nothing wrong with it. Oh, same with the vaccine passport. Nothing wrong with it. It's when people don't resist, it's when the politicians get away with it. The people need to resist, because if we don't, then we will be controlled. And I don't want to be controlled. Do you? We must take action to reject these measures, engage in mass social media campaigns, conduct grassroots outreach, contact your MPs, and sign petitions. Do everything you can to push back before it's too late. If these IDs are implemented, remember, mass non-compliance is the only way. We see through your agenda, Keir Starmer. You are a puppet for the World Economic Forum, UN, Tony Blair Institute, and the EU. You are a traitor to our once great country. And Konstantin Kisin goes, digital ID has nothing to do with immigration. Just think critically for 3 seconds. Britain currently has up to 1 million illegal immigrants. Many, if not most, are known to the authorities, and yet they're still here. The reason they're here is not that we can't identify them. The problem digital ID is supposed to solve, the problem is that we don't deport them even when we know who they are. Yes. So if anyone thinks that this digital ID is really about deporting illegals, think again. If they haven't done it yet, they won't do it after they brought in a new system. It's like, oh, I know, we're going to bring in a new system that's going to create extra steps for us to identify the people we already know. But the citizens also need to be identified as well, just in case. No, it doesn't work like that, mate. This is not about immigration. It's about building control infrastructure. It's why Blair tried and failed to push them through 20 years ago. Imagine that governments which routinely arrest people for jokes and memes locked people in their homes during COVID and think half the country is far right, have these tools at their disposal. And some of you are convinced half the country really is far right and are about to elect that evil fascist Herr Farage. You want him to have this control infrastructure at his disposal? This needs to be opposed by everyone across the political spectrum. It has nothing to do with what you're being told. Starmer is lying to you, and the media are lackeys like the BBC. Like, yeah, look at us, guys. We know what we're talking about. You don't. You're just simps for the government. Whatever the government wants, you're going to do. Like, look at us. And because, once again, propaganda is king, it's all about optics, isn't it? So look at the digital ID from the perspective of, we're going to make this sound like it is a good thing, even though it's not a good thing. It's all about control. And no, not going to happen. Not as long as we, the people, decide enough is enough. We rise up. We still are in a democracy at the moment. And whether it's Albo here in Australia or Starmer in the UK, enough is enough. Change is coming. And it's going to be big. And it's not going to work for the stinking government. Anyway, that's enough from me. You guys take care. Be blessed. I'll see you all in the next video.